welcome to Truth and Transparency. Good afternoon. I didn't want the defense or Karen Reed to have to wait to Sunday to have this. So really quick, I am putting this out there now. Here it is, proof that Matt McCabe is the mastermind behind all of this. He did both House Law to Die, every House Law to Die Google search. I'm going to prove it to you right here.
Before she was leaving the house,
I'll allow this. What were your concerns?
My concerns were she was going to be driving with Miss Reed in their vehicle, in Miss Reed's vehicle, and my concerns were that she had a broken taillight. What I thought by a broken taillight was that her taillight was out, meaning there was no light. And I didn't think it was a bright idea to be driving around with no physical light on the taillight.
Particularly given the weather, is that fair to say?
Because of the weather, correct.
Yeah.
And so
that's a good, interesting
your wife then
observation.
Miss Reed, is that correct?
That is correct.
You know, happen to see like who got in where as far as the car who was driving when they went?
I did not see that, no.
Now, was that within the same time frame that you were describing before, about a half hour after you hear the initial call?
Yes, from Miss Reed arriving at my house was, yes, half hour or so after the initial call. And it wasn't long after before they proceeded to leave.
They all look, I can't wait to see Jennifer
At the time that you're
McCabe. She
looking
looks
out
so beat up.
from the blinds, and you see the defendant's car and the defendant outside. Was it light out? Was it dark out? What are we talking about?
It was dark out.
And so they leave in your home with the 4 children, correct?
That is correct.
And when was the next time that you spoke to your wife?
The next time I spoke to my wife was an hour later. I received a phone call from her. I don't know the exact time, but I'm going to say about an hour so.
And without reference to much of the content of that, all I'm really asking for is what, if any, indication did she give you as to where she was?
She indicated they found John and at Fairview.
And upon receiving that information, where did you go?
I proceeded to finish getting dressed and drove over to Fairview.
All right, listen up right here.
And when you got to Fairview, what, if anything, did you see when you arrived?
Ready?
When I got to Fairview, I had come down through the Chapman Street entrance. And as I proceeded down the hill towards the Albert residence, I noticed all the first responders, fire engine, et cetera, police cars. And I realized I was not going to be able to get to the Albert residence because it was all blocking the street. So I backtracked, turned around, went back up Fairview to the top to Chapman, took a left down Spring Lane, which is a parallel street to Fairview, and came down Spring Lane.
All right, perfect. You guys just heard exactly what he said. When he first went there, okay, he would have come down and he's parked behind all of the first responders. He also then goes on to continue to say how he talks to Carrie Roberts, okay? He sees the ambulances. He's talking to Carrie Roberts. Carrie Roberts is like, I'm going to go get the O'Keefes, all of these things. So Matt McCabe, this is very important. I'm going to go use Hector here. Okay, so stop sharing that screen. We're going to go here, and we're going to share from the dash cam. Hector, what's up? What's up, Hector? Okay. 6:53 and 41 seconds. This is 6:53 a.m. and 41 seconds. This is straight from the dash cam of none other than Canton MA Police 582. And as you can see here, this is, when you want to talk about proof, I'm all about the receipts from every level. Every level. This is undeniable proof, okay, that in this photograph, there is no vehicle right there where it should be of the SUV that Matt McCabe owns and says that he drove. Well, 6:53 a.m. Very important. Matt is there, though, as we know, because Matt talked with Carrie Roberts and talked with first responders, Michael Lank, as he was walking into the house. Remember all that? Okay. Because Matt, like he said, he came down and he actually parked on the side of the road behind all these first responders. Okay. And this picture that would then be taken hours later. See that? Everybody has thought this whole time this is, oh, that's Matt McCabe. Remember then the other angle that we have where we see like it's turned in like a Denali and we see it from the other angle. And you could just see there's two cars and then allegedly, Matt McCabe's vehicle. Well, Matt McCabe was there at this time at 6:53. I just happened to take a still shot so I could show this, which is Matt is parked behind all the first responders. And why this is so important is because yet again, we're going to show how Jennifer McCabe, everybody's been saying, Lana, but Jennifer McCabe did the Google search that happened at 6:23, and therefore she had to have known because she was covering it up. Well, I'm about to show you that no, Matt McCabe arrives at 6:17 and 29 seconds. 6:17 and 29 seconds. Okay? Between 6:17 and 29 seconds and 6:20, Matt McCabe arrives, gets out of his vehicle, he's parked in the back, and will come over and take none other than Jennifer McCabe's cell phone and what I believe to be John O'Keefe's cell phone. Lana, how can you prove that? I'm about to right here, right now. This is called obstruction of justice. This is called the mastermind, Matt McCabe. And so what I want you guys to all see is first, Matt McCabe is a liar. But I need you to clear your minds and the rest will follow. Okay? These 6:07 and 6:08 phone calls that would happen after the 6:03 911 call, 6:07, 6:08, that's to her sister, Nicole. Okay? And I'm telling you what took place on those phone calls. I've been adamant on saying, where are these vehicles? If there's only two vehicles here, we're missing vehicles. Where's Albert's personal vehicle? Where's Albert's work vehicle? Where are these vehicles? Well, when Jen McCabe called her sister, the first one, and saying whatever, get Brian. Oh my God. John's on the lawn. There's cops here. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, it's so secretive. Okay. Her sister says to her, what? Huh? Like, Brian's not here. Here's his, what? What do you mean, Brian? Calls her back. Hey, give me Brian's cell phone number. I don't have it. 6:07, 6:08. What ends up happening? Jennifer McCabe then stores in her phone at 6:08 and 35 seconds. She creates the contact for her Uncle Brian. So she makes the 911 call at 6:03. She calls her sister at 6:07. And she calls her sister back to get Brian's cell phone number because she didn't have it. Then she stores it at 6:08 and 35 seconds. Now, then from 6:04 to 6:12, The iPhone is taking steps in between that time period. Same as her watch is. What is very important to note is that the reason that Jen does not call Brian at 6:08 or 6:09 is because that's when the police arrive. And Jen she's dealing with the police, okay? So Jen would have called Brian, but here the police are arriving. She's talking to the police, all right? Well, I go to my handy dandy, Lana, you're so fucking rocking awesome, steps that I'm going to prove how this works. Jen McCabe's steps. So, with her iWatch, 6:03, 6:23, 6:03, 6 to 59, 29 steps with the iWatch. Then right there, you can see the iPhone. So Jennifer has her iPhone. Obviously, she's on the call. She's on call with 911. 6:04 and 24 seconds to 6:12 and 16 seconds. Okay. Then the iWatch is just showing how it's breaking up because it's really, really specific. So it's breaking up like here's the 6:04 to 6 this movement, 6:05, 6:05 to that movement for 3 seconds, 6:09 and 45 seconds to 6:10 and 10 seconds. Okay. Then, see, that's all the watch. Now, right here at 6:17 and 50 seconds, this is very, very important. She's moving around with her person, 6:12 and 58 seconds, 6:17 and 50 seconds. Jennifer McCabe this is her watch data, and she's walking. You could just see like she took, barely walking. But at 6:17 and 50 seconds, Jennifer McCabe will stop moving. And what you will see here is you see the iPhone right there. iPhone. Okay. Remember what I've taught you here, guys, is that the iPhone begins to move, but the watch wearer does not. 6:19 and 7 seconds to 6:26 and 28 seconds, the phone was passed off because Matt McCabe gets there. Matt's like, Jen's dealing with the police. Here, he's like, oh, I don't have my phone. Well, here's my phone. Here's my phone. Okay, so she passes off her phone because she's not moving. And this iPhone begins to move. And in order for it to be her at 6:19 to 6:26 during that time frame, she would have to be moving too, because it's taking steps during that time frame, which she does not. The watch is not moving, but the phone is, because Matt McCabe, being the sneaky fuck that he is, says to Jen, what the heck is going on? This is where it's awesome. Also in that 6:08 to 6:07 to 6:09, that call to Nicole, it could have also been something like, hey, call Matt and tell him we found John too. The police are here. I got to talk, you know what I mean? But as you can see, if you go back and look at her calls, Matt McCabe is not called, y'all. Matt McCabe is not called yet. Okay? Matt McCabe is not called yet. So the iPhone starts moving and is moving without the watch wearer. Now you can see right under it, the watch wearer, okay, starts to move at 6:26 and 20 seconds. But now it's really important for us to talk about 6:19 to 6:26. Jennifer McCabe does not have her phone. Okay? The watch wearer is not moving. So this is the important part. From 6:17 and 50 seconds, when the watch wearer stops, from 6:17 and 50 seconds, the watch wearer, Jennifer McCabe, stops. And she would stay stationary in the back of a cop car, staying warm, whatever. That ass is not moving from 6:17 and 50 seconds until 6:26 and 10 seconds. But the iPhone is. And during that time, it is imperative to understand what then happens with this phone. during that time is when the first thing that happens is at 6:23. Brian Albert, Uncle Brian, is called. Okay. Oopsies. Sorry. Hold on. Here it is. Why this is important is because at 6:23, whoopsies, in 51 seconds, when Jennifer McCabe does not have her phone, how long Todd die in cold? At 6:24, in 18 seconds, how long to die in cold? All of which are between the time frame of 6:17 and 50 seconds and 6:26 of when Matt motherfucking McCabe has her phone, and how I'm able to prove it even more. Okay. Also during that time is when the Uncle Brian number is called at 6:35. I'm sorry, not 6:35. At 6:23 on the money. On the money. Uncle Brian called at 6:23 again in that time frame. Okay? Then while Jennifer McCabe is sitting with her ass not moving from 6:17 and 50 seconds to 6:26 in 20 seconds, we have House Long to Die in the Cold being re-Googled, motherfuckers. Woo! We have Uncle Brian being called. We have Matt McCabe at the scene. We have then, to prove that then Matt McCabe tries to make it seem like he was called, he then takes Jen's phone at 6:35 in 3 seconds and calls himself from her fucking phone. Right there. How, Lana, do you know that that is not Jen calling him for 19 seconds? Well, I'm about to blow your motherfucking minds. This is how. There is dash cam that's supposedly showing a figure walking into the house at 34 Fairview, right? And they say, hey, does that look like a figure going inside? Does that look like a figure going inside? Well, then Jennifer McCabe, she testifies and she's like, yeah, then I go inside and I go upstairs and I wake up my brother-in-law and my sister, man, Okay, exactly. If you have a phone call that you are going to make and you are Jen McCabe actually making this phone call at 6:35 in 3 seconds and it lasts for 19 seconds, you would then go all the way up to 6:35 in 22 seconds, of which you would have your phone with you. Ready? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me just show you what happens. House long my dick. House big my titties. Ready. At 6:35 and 33 seconds to 6:35 and 36 seconds, this is when Jennifer McCabe is going upstairs with her watch on her to go inside the house and up the stairs, okay? Which is exactly 10 seconds after that call would have been completed and is supposedly in her hands. But guess what, people? Just like at 2:23, when only the watch went upstairs, but at 5:32, both the watch and the phone were working in concert and walking upstairs? So you see both of them? At this time, at 6:35 and 33 seconds to 6:35 and 36 seconds, you should also see the iPhone going upstairs. And ladies and gentlemen, it does not. The next time you see the iPhone going up a set of flight of stairs is at 11:23 and 57 seconds. Jennifer McCabe at 6:35, just like at 6:23, just like at 6:22, Jennifer McCabe does not have her phone. Jennifer McCabe goes inside, walks up a flight of stairs without her cell phone, which she should if she made the 6:35 phone call to her husband, to tell him about, everything that's happening, right? Then, right, this is proof here that Matt McCabe, in his testimony, just what I played for you guys, he tells you all, he first gets there and he goes down and there's all the first responders there and he can't get through. Yeah, it's exactly right, Matt. But in order for you to have seen all of that shit, it had to be when? Way early on. You got there, Matty Poo, as I just proved it, at 6:18. Well, you arrived at 6:15, but by the time that you got Jen's phone, then the first thing you do when you get that is you Google house long to die in the cold. That's 6:22. You then call the Brian Albert line number. And you're moving all around with that phone while Jen McCabe is sitting still. Again, Brian Albert was not in that home that morning. That's why they needed the phone number, because when Jennifer calls, and Jennifer doesn't know anything, right? Because they're doing this all behind Jennifer's back, y'all. You think Jennifer McCabe is the fucking mastermind? No, ladies and gentlemen, not for a single second. The mastermind and IT dude who then, remember, Carrie Roberts wants to act like she passed off this phone to a supposed first responder, but she doesn't know who she gave it to. Well, I believe that she gave it to Brian Higgins / Matt McCabe. They're the ones that had John's phone. I've always said this, that John's phone, because John's phone's going up and down. And when you compare then and you isolate, these are John's steps. When you actually compare and you take and you isolate and you take away the watch stuff and you compare John's phone steps that are arriving over and doing over here at these crazy times, it's actually moving in concert with her iPhone, but not her watch. You sick fat fuck, Matt. Okay? And that's why I was like, oh shit, Jen doesn't have the phone, because I was like, John's going up a flight of stairs at 6:43. See that? Which is not indicative of when Jen did. But I'm like, holy shit fuck. Holy shit fuck. But it would be indicative of when Fatty Matty was inside that house and went up up the flight of stairs or down to the basement, and then when he would have come up, Fatty Bo Batty Matty. Okay? And that's another way to show that this flight of stairs that was registered on John O'Keefe's phone, if you isolate his steps and what I could never do is I was like, wait a second. the iWatch is making it so that, damn, whoever has the iWatch on, who's Jen McCabe, if she was going up a flight of stairs with John's phone, it would have registered. But when she goes up at 6:35, it doesn't. But that's what I was like, but her iPhone doesn't register either. And then that's how I work all my stuff out. I will go up against anybody in the country. Give me the data and I will tell you what it is. I will connect the dots so fast your fucking heads will spin. And that fat ass will lose about 30, 40, 50 pounds in an hour. This is undisputed evidence that shows House Long to Die in the Cold was Googled by Matt McCabe at 2:27. And then he's the IT guy knowing to cover the tracks at 6:22 and 6:23 when he regains possession of Jennifer McCabe's phone, when she is clearly sitting down and not able to be moving as her iWatch would indicate, but her phone is moving, and that's when everything happened. When she's sitting with her iWatch showing that she's not moving, but her phone is moving from 6:19 to 6:26. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the time frame. And everybody wants to ask, okay, well, you proved all this stuff, but what about Chloe? What about Chloe? What about Chloe? What about the attacks on his arm? What about the attacks on his arm? You guys, what I have proven does not negate that at all. It does not negate his arm. The world is watching. No, nobody messed up anybody's phones, guys. Nobody's phones got messed up. These are downloaded from the actual device. If that was the case and they messed up phones, okay, then Jen's phone, aka John's phone, would have none of that happened. I'm showing you guys exactly what happened, and I'm showing it with the data. Okay. And I know who knows now when they see this, boom dickety, they're like, holy shit, Lana. Exactly. Fatty Matty, you were there. You were there. And you came up from behind just like you said you did. And then here's proof that at 6:53, when you were inside that house being interviewed by Lank, okay, your car isn't here where it needs to be, but you are there, and it's because you're parked over here behind everything. You guys, people don't... Why would Jen have to know a damn thing? Jen kept blowing him up after they return around like 12:40, 12:41, wondering where John's at, okay? Because whatever those guys told fucking Jen, that, I don't know, he got like pissed and walked off, or I don't know this, or I don't, you know, when Jen loses and she's high rate of everything is when she figures something out inside that house at between 6:47 and 6:53 a.m. is when Jen McCabe is about to have a heart attack. Okay. That's when Jen would get a piece of something, is between 6:47 a.m. and 6:52 a.m. Catch you on the flyby. This is an Irish goodbye. I'll debate anybody in this. Matt McCabe did the Google searches. Matt McCabe did them on the first floor. Matt McCabe then had Jen's phone at between 6:18 and 6:26, and then he continued to have it just like he was running game the night before. Matt McCabe's your IT person. Matt McCabe knew exactly what he was doing. And you ain't doing all of that shit Matt McCabe knows everything. Matt McCabe knows it. Matt McCabe fed every story to Jennifer McCabe. Trust. How did she hand it to him at 6:18? Because he was. Do you think she handed it to? How did she? What do you mean? How did she hand it to him? He comes up behind and says, "Oh my God, I just started driving around to try to find you guys, and I came over here because this is where we were. What the fuck is going on? Oh my God, we found John. What? That's how he's acting like this. And then, oh my God, yeah, here. And I just call, Brian's not inside. Brian's not home. Call Brian. Oh, I don't have my phone on me. Jen hands the phone to her husband. Here, use mine. The first thing that he does though, when he gets that phone, it isn't to call Brian. He starts walking away with it. And then the first thing that he does is house long to die in the cold at 6:20. You know what? Go watch this video about 5 times if you need help understanding it. Then Jennifer is sitting in a vehicle or standing still, does not move from 6:17 and 50 seconds until 6:26. Does not move. Her phone though is moving. And her phone is doing these Google searches during the time at 6:23, 6:22, and then at 6:23 on the dot, after the Google searches, as though, okay, now I'll call Brian. I got to get these Google searches in. And then here, we're going to tell and say, Karen told you to Google this. House long to die in the cold. And she's like, what the fuck? Jen McCabe found out at 6:47 to 6:52 that morning what happened, a little bit about it, and she about blew a gasket. And she could either cover it up with her husband at that point, but she didn't know the extent to all this shit. That you guys know how shocked she was when it came out that house long to die in the cold was Googled in her phone. And she's over here, she's like, I didn't fucking Google that shit. What the fuck? Her fucking fat fucking husband did. Because the whole time that cocksucker thought that no one's ever going to look in but my fucking wife, I could never imagine that she would ever insert herself like this and give up her phone and that she would ever be. And that was the death of the death of the death. Have a great day. What about the 2:27 a.m. search? What are you talking about? What about it? It happened at 2:27 a.m. the morning, in the middle of the morning, by Matt McCabe. Have a good day. I figured people have actually been following this case. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Run it back, run it back, run it back, baby. You guys, I know that you guys think Jennifer McCabe Googled that shit. I just proved that Jennifer McCabe did not Google house long to die in the cold at 2:27 a.m., nor did she do it at 6:22 a.m. Matt McCabe did both of them. And that's the only person you need to go get those phone records of Matt McCabe. Karen Reed needs to sue the shit out of the McCabes, and all of their phone records will then become available and it'll all come out. And she can sue them for every fucking penny that they're worth. And then donate the money if she wants. Go get them, Karen. Fuck these people up. But Matt McCabe, I'm sorry, in a sense, hey, John, hey, Jen, what were y'all doing? Remember back in the beginning, I told you, I was like, it's interesting that Jen and John's phones aren't moving at the same time. And I always thought maybe they were, messing around, laying around, kissing, who knows, Matt and Higgins. And then Brian Albert, there's not enough cars in that driveway. He's not home. And that's why she said, he's not here. I just looked, he's not here. I have no idea. What are you talking about? You know? And then she calls her back. And then she needs that number. Hey, what's Brian's number? I don't have it. What's Brian's number? Gives her Brian's number. And then that's when the police show up. So she's dealing with them. And then her husband fucking shows up. And then she's telling her husband this. He's like, oh God, either my phone's back in the car, give me yours, and plays it off, downplays it like her, downplays it to his wife, and then also starts staging calls to his own cell phone, which is fucking hilarious. And I love it. Take that, McCabe. Fuck you. Fuck you, Matt. Got you. Boom.